All right. Are you ready for my
I'm
dance
ready.
move via
I'm
audio?
I'm all ears.
All right. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Okay.
All right.
What
There's
was
my
the dance move
move.
called?
I call it my bulgogi bash.
Hello and welcome to the TIMEBAT Show, episode number 10. I'm your host, TIMEBAT,
And I am your host, Bat Snacks.
and we are in the double digits for our episodes now. Isn't that super
Woo!
freaking exciting? Woo!
Yes.
I'm very excited about that. I don't know about you.
Yeah, that's
we've
big milestone.
it's like we've made it.
We're not gonna get another digit for another 90 episodes. So
That's true. This is the first. This
This
is
is a big deal here.
This is the first digit milestone we will
Yes.
ever have. Probably. This is the
Yes.
first and last digit milestone that we will ever have.
Yes.
So what has happened since the last episode? Halloween happened. Obviously, last episode was our big Halloween episode, but then Halloween happened, and I didn't do anything for Halloween. I don't know about you. Did you
Yeah,
have
not too
anything
much.
exciting go on during that time? I went to a party and I had no costume at all because I'm lazy.
yeah, it kind of sounds like me.
Yeah, you just don't. You're not that kind of person. Halloween spirit.
I like costumes, but if I'm gonna wear one, it needs to be like
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I
It
need to
ta-
spend like $500
Yeah.
on it. and-
Like blow your life savings completely on it, and
Yeah.
I'm just too lazy to like put any effort into a costume that I'm not super interested in. Like if
Yes.
it's not that good, I'm like, I don't care, whatever,
And the problem I was having too is even when I do think of really good ideas, like I wanted to go as Master Roshi this year from the Dragon
Yeah,
Ball Z
you told
series.
me about that. Yeah,
But the problem with that is I think of a costume and then I have no idea how to approach the costuming process.
yeah, like you don't even know
Like-
where to begin.
Yeah, like how do you make a giant turtle shell that goes on your back, or like
That-
get a giant fake beard, or
That's a great question. How do you make a giant turtle shell that goes on your back? No, I don't know.
I have no idea.
But so I went to a Halloween party and everyone there was superheroes. Like everybody. Like I can't think of a costume that wasn't a superhero. So
Superheroes are
they're everywhere.
pretty big these days.
Well, yeah, but it's just. I mean, 5 years ago you'd see a lot of superheroes, but you'd see like an assortment of people.
You'd
This.
see like an 8-year-old that was Batman, though.
Yeah.
Not like adults didn't generally.
Well, I
dress
think
as-
they did, but you still had some variants and stuff. Like there's a witch, there's like a skeleton, there's a ghost. But it's like this. It was all. It's just everyone's doing the superhero thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Speaking of superheroes, Doctor Strange came out last Friday, and
Yes,
I
it
saw
did.
it on opening night. I don't know if you saw it too.
Yes, I saw it in IMAX on opening
You
night.
saw it in IMAX,
Yeah,
IMAX 3D or IMAX regular.
IMAX 3D.
Oh damn! You like blew like $50 on this ticket.
20.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, it was expensive.
I saw it in the Peasant Theater, the regular old 2D, not IMAX experience.
Did you see it at what is it? The Alamos
I did see it
movie
at the
house?
Alamo Draft House, yes. So
Okay.
I got to eat delicious food while seeing it. So
Yeah. Honestly, I would
Mine was
prefer that to
that.
IMAX, but since we don't have one of those here.
So you
I
take what
just-
you can get, kind of thing, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how did you find it?
I liked it.
Yeah.
There were things that I really liked about it.
Uh-huh.
I thought it had some good humor in it.
Yeah, let's not try to spoil too much about it, but yeah. You had some good humor.
Yeah, we had some good humor. The cape,
The cape was humorous.
his very humorous cape. It was like a sidekick character almost,
I
kind of.
wish that was more in the movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Like if that was like more in it, like I don't know. Like it had its like 15 minutes of fame in the middle of the movie.
Right.
And then it kind of stopped. I mean, it was still there, but it was like less,
For those 15 minutes, though, I really liked what they did with it.
No,
Like,
I
the
did too.
It had like a personality
Yeah,
and did all of these really hilarious things.
I liked it a lot too. I wish
Yeah.
they like did that more. Like I wish it was more of a
Same.
character. Like that cape was more interesting than probably every other character in the movie.
Honestly, yeah.
Other than the main character and
Yes.
the ancient one person.
The lady,
Yeah, the ancient one.
the bald lady, yeah.
Yeah. So the cape was more interesting than basically every other character in the movie. The villain, like his buddy or whatever, all that stuff.
So the actor that plays the villain, I think it's Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Mikkleson.
Mhm.
I think he's a really good villain. He's probably like one of my favorite villains ever. He was in
In this
Casino
movie
Royale.
or
no,
in
no,
general?
no, no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, 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 just like
Okay.
him playing villain, the actor playing villains
Yes,
in
he
general.
does do a good.
He is a
job.
good villain.
He was in Hannibal, and he
Yeah,
was in a couple
Casino
other things.
Royale.
Oh, Casino Royale, yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy that cries blood in that movie.
Right, he does play a good like villain. He looks
Yeah.
really evil. I think
He looks scary. Yeah.
He's like if
And
you
his
saw
voice.
him, like if you saw him on the street, you would like you would try to get away.
But you'd
quickly
be
as
captivated too at the same time.
possible. Would you be captivated? I would just be scared. I'd be like,
I
I'm getting the
think
hell out of the way.
I think he's pretty handsome
well,
too.
okay, this is assuming that you don't know Mads Mikkelsen, though.
Okay, yeah.
Like, if you just saw him, like, let's pretend for a second you've never seen him in any movie, and you saw him walking down the side of the street with his
Is he
like
dressed?
creepy eye. Yeah, he's dressed like he was dressed in like James Bond. So like he has a suit on, but it's like he kind of looks like a villain. You know, he has like a weird eye thing
Yeah.
going on. You know, like if you saw him, you would be.
I would instantly
scared.
assume he was a gangster of some kind.
Yeah,
That's
like,
someone that
oh,
you didn't want to be
This
around.
guy's in like the Russian mob or something,
Yes.
right? Like he's gonna murder someone, and I just need to like look down and walk by him, and clear it, and then we'll be good.
If I saw him
Mads.
walking down the street and I didn't know who he was, I would probably tell someone about it later. Like I would tell one of my friends, I saw a Russian
Right.
mobster
He
earlier.
looked just like Mads Mikkelsen. I mean, I don't know who Mads Mikkelsen is because he doesn't exist in our timeline, the non-Mads Mikkelsen timeline.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really good. I like him as an actor. I didn't think he. I mean, he did a fine job in Doctor Strange, but like, I wish
Yeah.
he was more of like fleshed out. I guess.
Yeah, his monologues were kind of. I mean, some of the dialogue they gave him was a little lame, but he did good with.
Did it well, but yeah,
Yeah, he
I
did
just
it
don't
well,
think the
but-
villain was written all that well. So
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? The VFX were cool.
Yes, very good.
I'm
Very
they were
psychedelic
really
and-
cool in 3D.
Yeah.
I wished they did more mind exploring kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did a lot of VFX, and a lot of them were just kind of set dressing kind of things. Like, oh, we're fighting in this cool Inception world, or
Yeah.
whatever. But they didn't do a lot of like explaining or like exploring like what that meant, I guess, if that
I
makes
see
sense.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Like I like that like cerebral stuff. Like in the Matrix, a good example, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
very they have crazy VFX in the Matrix. But like the cool part of the Matrix is like, oh, why is this happening? And then they like explain it and you're like, ooh, that's so neat. Like with like
Yeah.
the glitches and the ripples and all that stuff. In
There's a
Doctor Strange it was
reason.
just kind of
Yeah.
there. It was just like, yeah, it's really messed up when we fight.
Check out
'cause
all
we're-
of this crazy, awesome.
yeah, like we're wizards, so we fight really weirdly or whatever. And you're like, all right, cool, I guess. So yeah, but I did really like the VFX in the movie. But
Yeah.
yeah, it seemed like a lot of them were like set dressing stuff, which was cool. But yeah, that's my opinion of that.
And I thought
What? Whoa! What is that? What is that?
this it might be kind of a spoiler. Anyone that knows about the
ho-
comic knows that this is in the movie. But the dark dimension thing, I didn't understand the visuals of the dark dimension,
Yeah.
like why they looked the way they looked. It was just like glowing orbs connected
Oh
with string.
yeah, it looked like a neural network or something like that.
Yeah,
like
it's
a-
kind of like what you were saying. I didn't really understand why it looked that way, and I thought there could have been some really neat cerebral explanation for why the dark world looked the way it looked. but
Yeah.
instead it's just kind of like glowing orbs.
It was just like, oh, this looks really dark and weird or whatever.
Neat.
It did look like a brain, though. Like, it looked like a nervous system.
But
no, I'm not saying like that was.
yeah, I don't know why it
I don't
looks like that though.
I liked how he. I don't want to spoil it, but I liked how he defeated the bad person.
Yes,
in
that
the
was
movie.
cool.
I thought that was really neat.
Yeah,
Like
it was
I
really funny.
I
too.
guess I would have wished the movie was more that kind of thing. Like there was a lot of fight. There was a lot more fighting in the movie than I thought there would be. Let me just put it that way. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of fighting in a movie about wizards and like journeying in your brain or whatever. There's a lot of fighting, but it was a good movie. I'd recommend it still.
And I remember thinking during the movie, they really missed an opportunity with a training montage with like awesome music. I kept waiting for that to happen, like a Rocky style, like he's training himself, and there's like a 70s music playing.
Yeah, like some Pink Floyd or something, while he's doing it. Yeah, they did miss that opportunity. He got trained really fast. I don't know if you noticed that. But he went from like what?
That's why he needed a montage.
No, I agree. He needed a montage, but it's like he's like a bum, and then he's like the Grand Wizard or whatever. Like immediately, like in 2 minutes, he's like, "Oh, I know everything now," and you're like, "Whoa, that was quick." But I think they needed time to like get into like the villain because that was just my opinion of the movie. It was fun. But it wasn't like the most amazing movie I've ever seen or anything like that.
I think it'll win visual effects Oscars.
I do think it'll. I think it was really neat. I think the visual effects were really good, and they worked with the movie really well too. And the way they like choreographed like the fights and stuff within the visual effects, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
like,
I have no idea how.
Me neither, but that was really neat. Like I was watching that, I was like, I don't know how the hell they did this. That's really cool.
Especially the time dilation scenes where like certain parts of the shot
I have no
are moving
idea
forward
how they did that.
and certain parts are moving backwards.
I have no idea.
They're like they're interacting with each other.
Yeah, I don't know how they shot that at all.
I have no idea.
That was really cool. I have no idea what they did, but that was really awesome. That was probably the coolest visual effect of the whole movie, I think.
Yeah,
that part.
Totally agree.
They did some cool time. Not spoiling it. There's cool time stuff going on, so see it for that. Literally, that's like. If you just had to see it for one reason, it would be that cool scene.
And the cape.
And the cape. I mean, the cape was the star of the movie. He should be billed under Benadryl Cabbage Patch for his
Mr.
his like
Cape Caperson.
Benedict Cumberbatch, the Cape. Cape Caperson. That sounds like a radio host.
Yes.
I'm Cape Caperson, and this is 80s, all 80s, all the time. Thank you for thank you for listening. And he's like a late night host. Anyway, I wanted to bring up one other thing before we got into the meat of the show. And that is a second thing we've done on this podcast has come true. I texted you about this, remember?
Yes.
And I think we are predicting the dark dystopian future of America, but why don't you share with our listeners what happened?
Okay, this actually happened. We're not making this up. And as of now, I think it has 1.5 million views on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. And it happened like a week after we basically predicted it.
Exactly this scenario. Like, you can go back and listen to what was it on the previous episode?
I think it was the 2 episodes back. I think it was episode 8 where we predicted this.
The episode name is IBAS 2.0, and pretty much it's named IBAS 2.0 is because we envision this futuristic product, which is the old big mouth Billy Bass.
The singing bass.
Yeah, the singing bass that you'd buy at Walmart that sings like, going down the river or something like that. Except it would be an Internet of Things device, and you could talk to it and get the weather and, ask directions.
Like Siri or Alexa or any of those.
Or Alexa, which is exactly what you said in the previous episode. You said it's pretty much that product mixed with Alexa. And this man, after our episode came out, did exactly that. He merged Alexa and the big mouth Billy Bass
into one entity.
it works.
And it exists. It doesn't go far enough, but it goes. It's almost exactly.
Yeah,
yeah. Our version would sing you like
yes.
the weather and stuff. But yes, basically he created what we. So you're welcome, whoever created this thing.
Yeah, it's Brian Kane. I have the story open right here.
See, Brian Kane, you're welcome for the inspiration. If you want to have other inspiration, just contact us. Let us know.
Send us an email.
Send us an email at contact@TimeBat TimeBatSound.com, and we will give you the next thing you can make. And if you want to only focus on Internet of Things devices, we'll figure it out. We can combine that like Wi-Fi enabled toaster oven with, whatever.
Paula Dean's Twitter account.
We can combine those two things. Exactly. We can combine them. We'll figure out a way. And yeah, if you need more inspiration, just let us know and we'll do that. So that was really weird.
Yeah, it's so weird that. I mean, it's weird that we thought of that in the first place, but the fact that this person, a week
later, just decided to come up with it.
And he used Alexa, no less. He didn't use Siri or Cornada or any. He used specifically the one that we said.
Yep. It's kind of weird. I wonder if he's a listener.
It's a conspiracy.
We should bring him on the show and have him as a guest.
Okay, Brian Kane, you are welcome on the show anytime.
Anytime you want, just tweet us or email us or whatever, and we'll bring you on immediately.
Yeah. And it was a cool project, too. Good job on the bass.
Good job. It was very cool.
Yeah, but I thought it was neat.
Really, we're taking the credit for it because it was obviously our idea first. we should start copywriting the things we say. I don't know how to do that. It would be a
lot of copyrights. It would probably be very expensive.
Every week we have like a list of things we send to the copyright office or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, we need to copyright the eye bass, we need to copyright the Gillette you wear, and we need to copyright this movie script, we need to copyright this. Whatever. A lot of TV ideas and stuff. Okay, so wanted to jump into one more weird news story, and then we can get right into some good questions because I have some good questions today. Have you heard about the thing that's going on in Canada right now? Like science-y thing?
I heard that they erected a giant moose statue recently.
That is not what I was talking about.
Okay. Do you want to hear about that?
I would love to hear about the moose statue.
I don't know if this is true, but you've
piqued my interest.
I heard that they spent $50 million on a giant moose statue, and that people are upset because that was supposed to go towards infrastructure.
Wait, that's not infrastructure? A giant moose statue?
I think they wanted something different.
I feel like if I was a Canadian, I would driving by a giant moose statue, I'd feel like overwhelmed with national pride. And I would like be more excited to do my job. So like that, you could consider that's like infrastructure, but right?
It doesn't look like it's worth it.
It's like there's a picture and it's like not a really great looking moose.
Yeah, it's not the best looking moose. Do you remember Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Of course, yeah.
It looks like Bullwinkle.
Oh, good. It's like a cartoon moose.
Yes.
Does he have is he holding like a jar of maple syrup with him or something?
No, they didn't take it that far, but
they should have. And he's like ridden by that one guy, that Canadian Mountie guy, the cartoon character.
Paul Bunyan, but the Canadian version.
I don't remember his name. Yeah, he's the Canadian Mountie guy.
Dudley Do-Right.
Dudley Do-Right, yes,
that's
exactly. Yeah. Dudley Do-Right's riding him. He's holding a jar of maple syrup.
That would have been probably $150 million to get Dudley Do-Right on that giant moose.
It would have been worth it. I mean, let's not mince words here. That would have absolutely been worth it.
Who needs roads when you have a giant moose statue?
It inspires the people, inspires the population, and then they sing "Oh Canada." I don't know the rest of the song, but
and then they apologize a lot and say,
they're like, "Sorry about, sorry." And now we lost more listeners. That's good.
Yeah. No, what happened? What was
I wasn't talking about the moose statue, but I'm going to look this up afterwards. Maybe this is related to the moose statue. What's happening in the cold white north, like the really north section of Canada, like where it's near Antarctica and stuff,
the tundra.
The tundra, essentially, yes. Is there's this like weird noise that they're hearing, like this beep or boop or something. It's like I think they're calling it like a hum or something like that, and it's been going on for a couple weeks, and they have no idea where the hell it's coming from. And some people think it's coming from the ocean, like underneath the ice, but no one knows what the story of this thing is. And some like scientists are trying to figure it out, but nobody knows what the hell is going on.
It's like a widespread humming noise.
It's only happening in like the really far north, and I think it's only happening in a couple, like only a couple communities in Canada are hearing it. But like everyone is hearing it in this, like in the communities that is heard, like everyone's hearing it. It's not some weird psychosomatic thing. Like it's a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's not just like a crazy mountain man that like came back to town.
No.
And he's like, I hear the humming.
No, like a whole town, like a whole city somewhere really far north is hearing this thing, and they have no idea what it is. And it's weird.
Maybe it is a government experiment on the effects of noise on populations of people.
Remote cities in Canada.
Yeah. Like they chose a tundra city because it's kind of isolated, and if everybody went crazy and destroyed everything,
you could just write it off. Be like, well, whatever. It was a failed experiment, kind of thing. Yeah.
Be careful, Canadian people that are up there.
Well, they're coming at you with a two-pronged attack, right? The government, they're doing this moose statue, one hand, and then they're bringing you the weird noise on the other, and maybe they're trying to get people to move up north because the moose statue is so gaudy.
It's like it's an assault on all fronts. They're getting you in the ears,
visual and audio.
Yes.
both aspects. They're covering both of their faces. Oh my God! Wouldn't it be awesome if the moose statue, like in a month, it like opened its mouth? Like I don't know why it's animatronic, but for now it is okay. It opened its mouth, and then there was a speaker inside, and it started doing the hum.
That would be creepy,
right?
Yeah.
And it like its eyes like go look really dead and stuff too. Oh, its eyes like they're like made with marble or whatever, I'm assuming, or whatever the metal they're using. They like roll back into the head, so it's like just its size like some big holes for eyes now.
And then at midnight, big giant floodlights just go directly up into the sky out of the moose's eyes.
Out of the eyes, yes.
Out of the eyes.
And then they like do like the Batman, not the Batman thing. They do like the searchlight thing where they like crisscross or whatever.
Yes.
Right? And then it starts doing the noise, and it's like or whatever. And it's like
the two lights they intersect with each other and create a hologram of Dudley Do-Right.
Drinking maple syrup.
Yes.
And this is how they contact the aliens.
Yes.
The Canadian aliens.
It is a government experiment to try and contact aliens.
I mean, if I had to do it, I would do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it.
Do it right.
Yeah.
Do it right. Use the moose. Yeah. Maybe there are some, like, special Canadian aliens that... Well, not Canadian, but, like, aliens that, like associate with mooses, or is it meese? I don't know the plural of mooses.
I'm not sure.
Mooses. And, maybe they associate with the moose,
Right.
So they're using a moose to communicate, because the aliens will think we're friendly, because, like, oh, a moose is talking. Okay, well, let's listen to them.
Maybe
like, if it's a human, they'd be like, screw that.
There could be, like, a cell of aliens living in the tundra. They're, like, stranded from their people. And since they've lived in the tundra for so long,
for like
they've, like, come to identify with the moose.
With the moose. Like, that's... They think the moose is, like, the actual, like, prime inhabitant of the Earth.
Yes, it is
like,
the...
they're the apex species,
on the planet, the moose.
Earth. Because that's all they see in, like, the tundra, right?
Yeah, that's the most powerful animal.
Exactly. So they're, like, up in the tundra, and they're like, wow, we're here. They're like, blah, 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 blah. And that means, like, oh, we've been here for so long. And they, like, meet the mooses, and the moose kind of takes them in and shows them their moose ways.
Yes.
How to, like, hunt and fish and, all that stuff. And then the aliens come to revere
the aliens are
the
so
moose.
Intelligent, they can communicate with the moose.
With the moose, telepathically.
Yes.
Right. And they're just like, hello, and the moose is like, come here, I'll show you how to eat fish or whatever, and then they're like, thank you, moose man.
I think mooses are vegetarians.
Whatever. Well, they show them where to eat they show them
moose know where the
what's
fish
poisonous and what's not poisonous, and how to stay warm during the winter, and all the stuff that the aliens would need to know because their ship has crashed. And so finally, in 2016, the aliens have contacted their mothership, and the mothership's like, well, have you made contact with any alien, like any primary species of Earth? And they're like, yes, the moose. It's been great. Like, the moose is a fantastic species. They're very nice. They're really big. They have horns. They dominate everything. And so they're coming down now, and the Canadian government has like intercepted their transmission. They're like, oh shit, we're not mooses, and these aliens are really powerful. Like, they have like far superior technology.
Yes.
And so they're like, we need to communicate with these aliens via the moose, so they erect the giant. So, like, the Defense Department is like, screw the $50 million budget for roads. We need a giant moose communicator right now.
These aliens don't
destroy Canada.
They're going to think if aliens see us, we're destroying the moose's habitat.
We are, yeah, like the ice caps are melting and stuff. So they basically would see us and be like, oh, they're at war with the moose.
And the moose helped
our
us,
kind, so we are at war with the humans now because of the moose. They're like,
we attacked our moose allies.
Moose. Yeah, and they're like riding on mooses to fight us and stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe this whole plot to welcome the aliens and be like, oh, we're friends of the moose. The moose is
all right by us.
The moose is our god, or whatever. Right?
We erected a giant statue of him
in the middle of Canada. I don't know where Canada, but whatever.
Yeah, neither do I.
Just in the geographic center of Canada.
Yes.
And then it comes down, and they're like, "Oh, the moose." That would be a good movie idea, also.
A good Canadian movie, yeah.
Right? Not an American. No one would see that in America. I mean, I would see it because there's mooses. But I think that'd be a good, like, Canadian movie. So, okay, I'm glad we figured out what was going on in Canada. I mean, it's always some weird stuff going on.
We got to the bottom of that story.
We got to the bottom of that story pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of alien things this year and last year. Like, weird stuff going on, So, I wouldn't put it past them if there was some weird alien stuff going on up there. It would make sense. Anyway, are you want to get into the meat and potatoes here of the show?
Are you ready?
I'm been ready for the last 20 minutes.
All right, I will start us off.
You want to kick us off? All right. I'm doing something more interesting today. I just want to say,
okay.
You're gonna do our classic kind of questions. I'm gonna give us some more personal stuff. It's gonna be weird. So I'm just giving you a fair warning. And
hopefully
then
it's good weird.
Hopefully it's good. Probably not, but we'll see. And then again, I wanted to bring back a game from our past. We haven't done this since like episode 4. We're gonna play a quick round of trivia at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And what we're
gonna do?
Stay tuned
for that.
So stay tuned for that. And we're not gonna do a whole episode. It's just gonna be I'm gonna give you quick trivia, and then we're gonna just rotate off. I think every week, and we're just gonna keep trying to stump each other. Anyway, launch. 3, 2, 1.
What
Go.
do you keep in your car in case of emergency?
What do I keep in my car in case of an emergency?
Yeah, do you have any supplies in your car? Are you one of those people that has like a year's worth of food in your trunk?
No, I'm not that weird. I'm like the opposite. So I got my car. My car's like 10. No, my car's 16 years old, but I've owned it for about 10. Mm-hmm. And it was something I got like right before I went to college. And my dad basically loaded up my trunk with all this like emergency kind of stuff.
Nice.
For like, if you're stuck on the side of the road or whatever, oh, here's like an air horn. Here's like one of those tire things you can use to like inflate it for a brief second. Here's like one of those jumper cables. Here's some, whatever. Yeah. There's all these random things.
Basic.
And I've never used them. And the funny part about this is my car's trunk has some kind of leak in it.
What?
Like when it rains, it like fills up, right?
Oh.
So like these things have just been, and I'm too lazy to like empty the water because
when was the last time you opened your trunk?
I open it like every couple months or so.
Is there like an ecosystem of?
There is a little bit of one. So basically, what happened is it fills up every time it rains, and emptying out every time is just a pain in the ass. So we just let it go. But basically, what's happening in there is all of this stuff is floating in this like vat of water that has accumulated over like the course of many months or whatever. So there's like these there's like these random supplies. I think I have like a couple flashlights that are like floating in there.
They're all rusted in their
right.
cells of like
exactly. Yes, they're all rusted, and I'm pretty sure there's some like battery acid in the mix in here. You know what I mean? Because the water doesn't really look right, and it's not like clear. It's like you wouldn't want to drink this. Like I've like dumped this out with a cup before because sometimes it gets too high. And the water's like murky brown and has like some crusty stuff on top. So I'm pretty sure there's like some weird battery acid / rust kind of mixture in here.
After it rains and you're driving around, can you hear sloshing?
Yes, I can hear sloshing. I can, yes. And the reason I know when to empty it is when it sloshes enough that like my back seat, the carpeting on the bottom will get a little moist, and then you know that okay, the water has reached this area of the vehicle, so it's time to empty the trunk of the.
So you take your emergency preparedness to the next level. You make emergency soup in the back of the trunk.
do emergency soup so that if I'm ever like held at gunpoint, I can be like, hey, I'm glad we're here. Why don't you have some soup and tell me how you enjoy it, and then we will go off and I will drive you to the bank that you need to rob or whatever, So that is my car preparedness.
That is way better than mine.
So no, I don't really have car preparedness. I had stuff, but they're all in the soup now. the soup has claimed them.
The emergency soup.
The other thing that's funny is like I had a spare tire in my trunk. And one of my tires like busted up, like it deflated like a year ago while I was in like a parking lot.
Okay.
And I called someone to like come and change it because I didn't have a hand crank thing or whatever to prop the car up, so I needed to like help. Someone comes and changes it and is like, all right, where's your spare tire? It's in the trunk. And he goes in and it's like sitting in this vat of water. And he like grabs it and it starts dripping down the side. And he's like, I don't know if this is going to work. And I was like, please try it. I have no other way of getting home. So he like puts the tire in and it's like all like it's already like really deflated somehow. Probably because it's been sitting. And so he like reinflates it briefly. And luckily I'm able to drive home on it. But like it was gross. Like you wouldn't want to drive. You're not supposed to drive very long on those, but I wouldn't have drove another like 5 miles, or I would have afraid like I think the treads were getting worn out with all the water or whatever. So
it was probably a little rusted.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of rusted. So that's the fun part of my car. Like I said, it's like a 16-year-old car. It still runs, but everything about it is slowly breaking.
Yeah.
Over the course of the years.
I'm kind of in a similar situation.
Do you have a soup? You have a soup thing going on too?
Yeah, I had at one point emergency supplies in the back of my car, but over time they've kind of deteriorated and gone to hell. Yeah, like the back of my car there's a bunch of magic cards and like there's old stuff that I never took out of my car from moving.
Like years ago.
There's like 2 jars of kimchi that have just been sitting in there and leaking into the surrounding area.
Delicious.
Kimchi is fermented cabbage.
I know what kimchi is.
And I used to have a canister of mace in the back of my car just in I don't know why, just in case I got robbed or something. But because I live in Florida and it's so hot outside and I never took it out of the trunk, it exploded and
inside your car.
Inside my trunk. So now all the magic cards, all of the kimchi, all of my spare tire and everything is coated in like sticky mace. It's like red And yeah.
It's like mace, like you'd spray someone on the face with.
Yeah, it's a disaster in there.
Does it smell? Like, does the mace have a smell?
Not really, not anymore.
Is it like like, does it hurt to like touch mace with your hands?
I mean, if you have an open wound, maybe. I don't know. I don't go back there very often.
See, that's how I am with my trunk. Like, I avoid that area of my vehicle, like,
of my life.
Like, so what's in your trunk? It's like, I don't talk about my trunk. Let's just leave that alone. Let's leave that alone.
Yeah, if I ever get stopped and they want to search my trunk, I'm just going to be like, you don't want to go back.
I mean, you can if you want, but, it's not going to be pretty.
It's nothing illegal, but you're
not gonna like it. I always wonder about, like, if I ever sell my car.
Yeah.
Like, how's that process gonna go? Like, let's say I'm trading up or whatever, and they're like, all right, we just need to do a quick inspection, make sure your vehicle's all, fine to drive.
Yeah.
And then they're like, sir, you got some issues with your trunk. And I play dumb, obviously. I'd be like, really? What's going on back there? And they're like, well, there's kind of this primordial ooze existing down
in
there.
Your trunk.
There's some animals that have evolved from the soup. I don't know how that's going to affect like my trade-in value or anything. But
I would
we'll see.
Maybe just like dry it out before you go in and just say that something terrible happened back there.
Okay. And they'll be like, why is it wet back here? And be like, well, just, I like to clean it a lot or something. I don't know. Make up a story, right?
Yeah, you were fishing and
right.
It's fine. It'll dry.
Something happened and it's fine though. It's fine now. It's cool.
It runs great.
It runs fine. But I mean, that's the thing. My car does run fine. It's just everything around it is breaking slowly.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
All right.
Okay.
I'm ready for one of your questions.
So my first one, like I said, these are gonna be more existential.
Got it.
Do clowns exist? I'll read you the full question, okay?
Okay.
Do clowns exist? ? I keep hearing stories of clowns running around scaring people. I am trying to figure out if they exist in real life or just in the movies. I need backed data.
Well, as someone who has been to a flea market in Florida, I can say for certainty that clowns do exist.
Do exist. Okay.
Yeah.
But do they exist?
That is the question.
Are they just part of our...
Let me see if I understand where you're going with this. So, if a man is in a clown outfit, he's a clown, right?
Right.
But when he takes the clown outfit off, is he still a clown?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not. He's a man, right?
So where did the clown go?
The clown, I don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's fictional. It's not a real thing, right?
Yeah, clowns don't exist.
They're fictional things that we've created, right?
Yes.
Or no? I mean,
I think that's absolutely right because, I mean, a person can go from being a clown to not being a clown. Like, if it existed, then you can't not be a clown if you're a clown.
You're always a clown.
Yeah, the clown just is.
In fictional movies where the clowns are evil, they're always clowns. You know what I mean? Like, they exist because they're always that.
Yeah,
you know
like,
I mean?
if
Like
you've seen Stephen King's It. Yeah,
It. He's
exactly.
always... He's a clown because he is a clown.
Yes.
I mean, he's an alien, but, like, he's a clown because he is one.
Yes.
Or, like... This would be identical to asking, like, do vampires exist? Like, they exist in fiction, but no, they don't exist in reality.
Yes.
You know, same thing with clowns. You could dress up like a vampire, but you're not a vampire.
You're never a vampire.
You're human. So, clowns don't exist. So, yeah. So, no, person. Clowns do not exist. They're not real. They're an illusion we've created to scare little children like you. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's terrifying to think about.
Isn't it?
Why did we make clowns?
Why did they never existed? And someone was like, you know, it'd be great if we painted your face so it looked like it was happy all the time, and we'd put like a big red nose on you and make you run around in bright colors, screaming obscenities. Yes. as you hurt yourself. Like
you're a person that is painted to be happy all the time, that is constantly hurting yourself.
That is constantly in pain, and you're wondering why you exist as a human being.
I mean, if you think about it that way, that's pretty funny. Like,
I mean, yeah. I mean, exactly. And all clowns are probably, like, really depressed on the inside.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, you have to think about someone that is really passionate for dressing up like a clown. I mean, it's not much different from, like you said, dressing up like a vampire.
Noticed you said like a clown, because clowns, again, don't exist.
That's the point we're really trying to drive home.
Trying to drive that home. Some asshole invented clowns, and you're now scared of them, and we're sorry about that. But
because they don't exist.
They don't exist. They're not real.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna like turn around after this podcast is over, and there's gonna be
there's a clown.
Would that be the scariest thing like ever?
Yeah, because there shouldn't be a man dressed as a clown in your house.
This reminds me of something. I saw this documentary on Netflix. It was about sleep paralysis. Do you know what sleep paralysis is?
Yeah.
Okay, so like it was a documentary on sleep paralysis, and they interviewed like all these people that got sleep paralysis, but they had like super intense sleep paralysis. And for those that don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's something happens to you when you're sleeping, where you kind of wake up, but you're in kind of a subconscious state where you're awake, but you can't move.
Yeah, you're aware.
Yeah,
but
you're aware of your surroundings, but you can't move at all. So you're kind of in between asleep and awake. You're in like this weird half asleep, half awake state where you can't move, but you can see around. Yeah. And
the way I've heard it explained is when you're asleep, in order to keep your body from acting out your dreams, your brain puts some sort of inhibitor in some part of somewhere. And it keeps your limbs from moving so that you don't, like punch people like you're punching in your dream.
You don't actually act out your dream,
Yeah.
So this is probably a cause of that. Like some inhibitor gets messed up and it still thinks you're sleeping, but you're awake. But anyway, this weird thing happens to some people that have it where they see like hallucinations during their sleep paralysis. So like they're seeing their room, but they also see these figures in the rooms with them.
Yes.
And so a lot of people think people that have been abducted by aliens are really just having this sleep paralysis where they're seeing like these figures walking into their rooms and they cannot move. So they think they're getting abducted. Anyway, it was a really interesting documentary on
And then, of
sleep
course,
paralysis.
they wake up in their bed and it's like...
Right, and they're like, what happened? I couldn't move. I saw these figures and now I'm back here. What happened? And they're like, oh, I must have been abducted or something.
Yeah.
But it was a really interesting documentary. I think it was called The Nightmare. And they interviewed 10 or so people that had sleep paralysis. And it was all people that had like really bad sleep paralysis where they had these terrible visions. And it was very...
I'm super glad that I don't have that.
I know, right? And I think I've had it like once, but I've never had a vision or anything. But all these people, the unique part of it was they all saw very similar things.
Visions.
All their visions consisted of one of a few different things. It was always human-like figures, but they were always like very shadowed, right?
Right.
So they're like, they call them like shadow people. A couple other people experienced the same kind of human-like figure, but they're really tall or really short, like they're extreme, one way or the other, which is where a lot of people got like the alien thing from, like the like really short, weirdly proportioned humans, basically. And then like some people saw really like tall people. And then another one that I thought was really interesting because you can kind of chalk the other ones up to like, oh, that's what a person looks like, so that's where their brain is going, Right. The other one that I thought was really interesting was a lot of people see this human figure, but he's wearing like this top hat. Isn't that really and a lot of people see this top hat man.
It's Baron Samedi.
Isn't that
the Lord of Voodoo?
Isn't that really weird?
Yeah, that's weird as heck.
But it's like it's not like a hat isn't a natural thing programmed into your brain.
Yeah.
Like a human figure is.
Like, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about top hats, too, and I'm sure that's the case for most people.
No, exactly. So, like, you see a person and they're in, like, this hat. I don't know if it's a top hat, but it's like, it's like a brimmed hat. It's like an obviously, brimmed hat. I think that's really creepy. So there's, like, this shared thing.
Yeah, that's pretty spooky.
It's creepy, man. It's not clowns, but it's, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah,
it's like creepy. we've all agreed that like, okay, this is creepy. Let's all experience this, at the same time. I was like, that's super weird. I don't get it. Anyway, it's a good documentary. It's called The Nightmare. It's on Netflix. And it's really scary. So I would recommend watching it. It's really weird. Hit me.
All right, here we go. What do you think the 2020s will be like?
Oh, the 2020s in 4 years.
Yes.
God. I think it's be awful. Can I say that already?
Yeah, you can say that
off the bat. I don't know. Maybe okay. So it'll either be really really awful, like basically the worst of this decade just amplified, or it'll be like completely different than what's going on right now. So I think we're gonna go one of two ways. We're gonna either go in the way of everything is like there's information on everything and it's all useless, kind of like the way the internet goes now is like there's so much information out there and 99.9% of it is complete garbage. So like we're either going to go that way where there's just information overload and it's all trash like Idiocracy basically. Where just everyone is just like walking zombies and it's like ugh. Or we're gonna like rebel against that somehow. I don't know how that would work, but like kind of a Renaissance kind of thing. Where we're like screw that, we're gonna start over again. Not start over, but like start fresh kind of thing. I don't know. You know what I mean?
So I think the biggest change in the 2020s that I'm pretty sure we're going to see is the internet isn't going to be a platform for everyone anymore. Like the internet is going to become, there will be 6 big like categories in the internet. Like you're pretty much going to have your social media or Facebook. You're going to have your news. You're going to have your media. You're going to have, and each category is going to have like pretty much the big corporations controlling and moderating them.
So it's going to be like the internet now, but like even amplified almost.
Yeah.
Because like we already kind of do have that, just there's still some personal stuff out there.
The way it is now, though, like you can still create your own website. Like we were able to create, TimeBatsHow.com.
Right. True.
In the future, though,
it's not.
If you want to have a platform for yourself, it's going to be the equivalent of a Twitter account. That's going to be the only way to do that.
The future is going to be like a corporate cyberpunk kind of deal.
At least the internet is.
Okay.
I think it's bad because it's limiting the way people express themselves to like.
Yes.
You have to do it this basically. Way.
You have to be in A or B kind of camp. Yeah. I think that's an interesting thing that the internet has done. Like it's let everyone have an opinion, but it's kind of concentrated opinions to like one or two. I don't know if that makes sense. One or two things.
Yeah. Like
it used to be like the Wild West, right, in the 90s. Everyone in the world had opinion about something, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It seems like today it's like it's all being funneled through these major websites like Facebook and Twitter and blah, 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 whatever. And then whatever's like the most common thing on those sites, that's the most common opinions on those sites. Those are the 2 ones you're allowed to subscribe to kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then so like it's painting everything you say. It's like, oh, am I on this camp or in this camp? It's making everything very black or white, which is kind of the opposite of what you would think the internet would do, but for some reason it's making that happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like in the future, it would be exactly what you're saying. Like a lot of like these 6 places control it, and you're either that or you're that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you're going to see subscriptions to the various... I like we're throwing a number out there, 6. There'll probably be about that many. You'll be subscribing to each individual. There'll be like cable packages.
But you won't have to subscribe.
No.
So like you'll have the like I'm using cable television as an example,
you'll pretty much have to subscribe.
You'll have but you won't have to subscribe to all of them.
Yeah.
Like one of them will be like the CNN, one of them will be like the Fox News, one of them will be like the MSNBC, et cetera, et cetera. And so the ones that like you're like, okay, this is within my confirmation bias or whatever,
Yeah.
That's my thing, and then you get all your news from that or all your information from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is this is sort of the problem I have with websites like Reddit. The upvote system is just horrendous for new material. Because anytime you visit Reddit, you don't see anything except for
the stuff that's popular.
The least, it's least common denominator stuff. Whatever appeals to the most broadest, people, most lamest group of people.
Right. Whoever's
always
gonna
comes
get
to the top.
Yeah. Whoever's going to get like not the most enjoyment out of it, but like if you count all the enjoyment ratio, all the enjoyment points from everyone on the globe, that's what gets voted.
It's least common denominator, and you don't get sort of the fringe opinions that you would have with the old.
Which is where a lot of the interesting things.
Which is where all the interesting stuff is. Yeah.
Well, yeah, actually, which is where everything interesting. Like that's how humanity makes new interesting things.
Yeah.
When one guy is like, "Hey, this is cool," and like three other people are like, "Yeah, it is," and no one like knows about it, and then one day randomly, word of mouth spreads, and then boom, it's like the next big idea or whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my vision for 2020.
It's very depressing.
I mean, there are advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantages are really bad.
Yeah. So you think it's going to be,
it's going to be more, I don't know if compartmentalized is the right word, but
no, I think that's a great word. We are very compartmentalized right now.
Yeah.
Everyone has to fit into like a box, or everything has to fit into a box.
Yeah.
Like is it
or
this?
Else it doesn't exist.
Is it this? With like what kind of thing it is, and also like what opinions you have of something. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, this is arts and entertainment. This is movies. This is whatever. And then when you get into like philosophy and politics, or whatever, that's obviously compartmentalized too. Like it's either A, B, or C. Because if everyone is agreeing with one thing, and there's some people that don't agree with it, all the people, the way that Reddit works is a great example. All the people that agree with it, they're going to be the ones that are seen more. So all the people that maybe have a different thought, they're actually swarming to this one thing that is all upvoted because the majority rules.
Yeah, it's more and more of the same constantly.
It's the majority always. Yeah, it's more of the same because the majority. It's like a feedback loop almost.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting.
And there becomes like prejudice towards anything that is not
does not fit within the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is outside the box. This isn't part of what we want to talk about or whatever.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Another
That's
question?
super depressing.
Yeah. It's not so bad.
The
world's pretty
depressing.
good. I like
the world. It's a little depressing. Yeah. It's a little depressing. It's only depressing in so far the internet's depressing.
Yeah.
Outside of the internet we'll still be like normal people that aren't zombies.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about that. This is a fun one.
Okay.
What is my mother's brother's wife called?
Mother's
brother's wife. So your mother's brother is your uncle.
Yeah, but his wife is
so your mother brother's. Is it your aunt?
It's like a weird cousin.
It's not your aunt. Yeah, it is kind of your aunt, right?
Not really. Your aunt is your mother's sister.
Oh, that's true. Is it aunt-in-law then?
No, because no one got divorced.
Okay. Well, no, I mean in-law is still like, you're related to them
true.
by marriage.
But it's not in-law. I don't know. That's a good question.
Aunt-in-law. I like aunt-in-law.
Actually, no. It is. What was it? Mother's brother's wife.
Yeah.
She's your aunt. Because I have the exact same kind of thing that happens in my family with a couple people, and I call them the aunt.
Aunts. Yeah.
I feel like it's just polite to refer to them as...
So it is an aunt. Yeah. Even though they're not a blood relative. They're still your aunt.
Yeah.
What would your mother's brother's wife's sister be called?
Someone I don't really care about. We'll probably never see.
Someone I don't know.
Yeah. That's a stranger.
That's like your step aunt. No, that's not. No, it would be your aunt twice removed. No.
Is that how you use that?
I think that's how twice removed. So I looked it up one day, twice removed, and I still don't really get it to this day. But I remember looking it up once and thinking, "Oh, I get it," and then I immediately forgot how it works. So second cousin is you and your first cousins are in the same generation. So the word removed is not used to describe your relationship. The words once removed means that there is a difference of one generation.
So they're older or younger.
Okay. So yeah, they're in a different generation. So like if you had a cousin twice removed, they'd basically be
a lot older or younger.
Your grandfather's like brother or something.
I don't know. I don't understand.
I think someone that was like a genealogist like invented these terms to confuse everyone.
Yeah.
And then when people are like, hey, how's this person related to me? They're like, oh, that's your second cousin twice removed. And they're like, whatever you say, buddy. That's why we pay you the money to be our genealogist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The way it works with my family is you're either cousin, aunt, or uncle. And that's kind of all we have.
That's where it ends. Yeah.
Or brother, sister, obviously.
Or grandfather and
or grandfather, grandmother.
There's no extra thing. Like, oh, you're the cousin of the whatever. Like, I have, like, a cousin, like, that's not technically my cousin, but he's, like, my grandmother's sister's son. And I think that's technically, like, one of those removed things. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
But I just call him my cousin because I don't know what else, Yeah. He's related to my family some way, and I don't really know. So I was just like, cousin, that's it, cousin.
Hey, cousin, like, how you doing?
It's like the catch-all for someone that isn't within, like, my paternal, unit kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, is there something.
But is there at the family gathering?
Right.
You need a word
he's
for
related.
it.
You know he's related to somebody. You don't know who exactly, but he's in there. And he's probably wondering the same thing about, like, you. Like, how do I relate to you? Whatever. You're a cousin now. It's fine. That's the way it's going to be. All right. That was, what do you got? You got something?
Sure.
Do it.
Okay, I have a couple good ones. How about, what's your favorite cartoon from childhood?
I have a few cartoons. Like, are we talking about, like, action, or are we talking about, like, comedy?
Let's do one action and one comedy. Because those were kind of the categories you had when you were a kid.
Right. You had, like,
it was either a comedy show or an action show.
It was like a Saturday morning thing, or it was like a comedy.
Yeah, or it was like an afternoon when you got home from
comedy, school. It's like a toss-up between three, I think.
Okay.
It would be like Dexter's Lab.
Good one.
Which is a great show.
Yeah.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Another good one.
Which is another great show. And Ed and Eddie, which was another great show.
They're all so good.
They're good for different reasons.
Yeah,
too.
I don't know how you pick a favorite in those three.
They're all very different.
Do you remember when those shows were originally coming out? And Courage the Cowardly, they had like a pilot of 3 different shows, and Courage was one of the pilots. And you got to go to CartoonNetwork.com
and vote.
And vote.
And it was like in 1996, so like the web was really new.
Yeah.
And it was like really exciting to vote for things.
It was,
or whatever.
Yeah, especially because you were a kid and
you were like 8 or 10 or whatever, and you're like, what is happening?
I remember I voted for Courage the Cowardly. We talked about this.
I believe we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like 12 or 11 or something.
I don't remember how old, but
it was in the late 90s, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy. That show is really weird.
It's one of the weirdest shows I've ever seen. And
I don't know how it was a kid's show. Like, how it was marketed.
So dark.
It's very dark.
And at the same time, there's a lot of really great humor in it. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's kind of like a parody of Scooby-Doo, except
in like a weird way.
Yeah, if Scooby-Doo lived with old people, kind of.
If Scooby-Doo was set in like a parallel dimension where everything was like messed up.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I guess. It was really weird.
The thing about Courage the Cowardly Dog that kind of sets it apart from that genre of mystery dog shows is everything in Courage the Cowardly Dog was real in the universe. It wasn't just like people dressed up.
No, it was all real.
Everything in Courage was a real thing that actually happened.
It had like this weird magical realism kind of thing going on, where it was like the two, what were their names? Eustace and
Muriel.
Muriel, thank you.
Yeah.
They were always like, oh, this is normal, this is whatever, this is fine. And then Courage was like, this is messed up, Like, Courage could see that, like, shit was weird. Yeah. But them two were always like, this is fine, this is normal. So it's like almost like Courage could see into like the beyond the veil or whatever,
Yeah.
you know. And like it was so weird because like everything, like you said, everything was real, but all the stuff was like really, really weird. Like there was a lot of aliens. There was a lot of like evil spirits, and
there was a lot of like murderers and criminals,
serial killers. And they lived in the middle of nowhere.
There was no police.
There was no police.
Courage constantly tries to call the police. The police are never in any
never
episode.
there.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have like neighbors or anything. Like you hardly ever see like normal people on the show. Like you never see like, oh, I'm going to go over to Bob's house and like Bob's like a normal guy. Like no, Bob's like a really weird dude that turns out to be like a vampire or something, you know? Like you don't really see any normal people other than Eustace and Muriel like in the show at all, which is super weird. So like you have to wonder, are they in like some weird dimension or something that like this is all just how it is? Or
it makes you think too, because what if the whole point of the show is just like the world from the perspective of a very small dog? Like everything just seems evil because you're a small dog.
Oh, dude, I never thought about that.
When actually everything is perfectly
normal.
Maybe that's what's really happening.
Whoa.
Maybe Courage has been so severely traumatized by Eustace, by that like creepy mask and everything.
Yeah.
That he thinks the whole world is evil.
Or he got like beat when he was younger or something.
Yeah, maybe he was like a shelter dog.
He has like psychological problems.
Yeah, and the whole show is just his warped view of reality.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes you think.
Blew my mind. That's kind of crazy.
I never thought about that before.
I never thought about that either. That could totally be possible. Like everything he sees is like a threat to his owners.
Yeah.
Because his worldview is one of extreme pessimism, where like everything is out to get
him and his owners.
And his owners, like always.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the stereotypical small dog. And everybody knows a small dog like that. Like
yeah, it's like really jumpy and like scared about it.
Will bark at you if you come near the owners.
And that would make sense too, because Muriel and Eustace are always like, even when they're getting like trapped by aliens or whatever, they're like, this is fine, this is normal, like nothing's wrong. Weird. Nothing weird is going on, Courage. And Courage is like, help me. And he could like talk, but like only a little, you know?
Yeah.
Like he'd be like, what's happening? You know, he would only have like a couple lines.
He can talk, but when he tries to talk to his family, they don't understand him.
They have no idea. They just think he's barking. But he would talk to the audience sometimes.
Yeah.
It would like break the fourth wall and just be like, can you believe what's happening? And you're like, what is this show? And when you're like 12, you're like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. The art was really good too.
It was. It was just a good show. It sets the stage for me being a very weird child later, I think.
They don't make shows like that anymore.
I think I owe a lot to that show. Like it made me wonder about the world in some kind of way. I don't know if it was good or bad, but it made me wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, I have another one for you.
Okay.
Then we're gonna get into trivia.
Got it.
This is an advice one. So, financial aid for a band? Question. Are you ready for this one?
Oh, no, I don't think I'm ready for this.
This is advice. We're going to give a listener advice. My band was offered a 3-day tour from a signed band and labeled to get our feet wet and see if they're interested enough in us. The problem is we're broke from our expenses with recording equipment because we self-produce, and from our gear, which is guitars, drums, amplifiers, etc. And merchandise. Apparently, they've already bought merchandise. Does anyone have any ideas how to possibly get some money quick so we can rent a trailer and buy a towing package and get it installed so we can do this?
So the question is how to make money fast.
Quick buck so they can get on the road and tour with this other band.
I don't think they're going to like the answer to this.
What is your answer? Let's brainstorm some stuff, you know.
Okay.
They could do like some street music, you know.
That's one way. You could panhandle. If it's legal in your area,
if they're good, check your local listings.
Yeah, check.
They could do some street stuff. What do you got for them?
You could do like these days you can do like a GoFundMe or some
Indiegogo,
kind of Patreon,
or Kickstarter,
Indiegogo,
or
something like that. They could
give
try
me money. I feel like those don't really work very well.
Yeah, especially
unless you have a really good sob story. Like if you have a really good, like I'm about to die in a week. And
I just want to go on this one last tour.
I just want to go
band.
on this 1 3-day tour with my band or whatever. And then people give
they could try that. It wouldn't. We're not saying it's ethical, but
I mean, it's worth a shot, right?
Right. They could
ask for forgiveness, not for permission. Just go for it, right?
They could. I mean, if they have a lot of friends, they could try to do like a house party band kind of thing.
Okay, so like go to Cindy's house.
Yeah, come see us at Cindy's house for $10.
How is that?
$20.
Oh, they charge to get in. Oh,
yeah.
You think college kids or young adults would pay $20 to see some no-name band though?
I mean, the people they're already friends with though, like they could invite their mom.
Oh yeah, they could just write
their girlfriend. Yeah, they
so
can invite their girlfriend.
Here we go. We got the immediate family, extended family concert, where it's like, hey, we're hurting for money.
Or, they're best friends and stuff.
And then you ask like their mom, be like, hey, can you ask Aunt
come to our concert,
and Uncle Joe to come to our concert? And oh, by the way, a concert costs $20. And if you want, you could buy a T-shirt for $25 because we got the merch as well. So they'd have like a family concert. Well, that would require a very large extended family, but it probably work.
Friends, it might help.
Yeah. So do and then obviously we forgot about the Hallmark, a bake sale.
Yeah, bake some stuff. Sell it outside the public library until they tell you to go away.
Bake some stuff, do a bake sale. Car wash.
Car wash,
right?
That's a classic.
Classic. I'm just drawn from movies at this point, right?
You could try...
Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
You could try gambling. I mean...
I don't know if that's a great... I mean, they don't have any money. They don't have any capital to gamble with. They're broke.
They could say they do.
Oh, I see. They could that would be... I mean, that's a risky proposition. They could do a bake sale / car wash, but they could have like musical interludes.
At the bake sale / car wash.
Right. So they set up out of the local library.
Mm-hmm.
They have their gear in the back, They have their producer or, their band manager selling the things. And in the back there, they're playing their riffs, They're jamming.
So you drive up and
you
then
hear
you drop
some
your
music.
car off. You drop your car off at the car wash.
Yes. Oh, I got it. So it's like a free concert for the public, okay?
Okay.
But there's a lot of baked goods there. There's like a lot of refreshments, and that's how they get you. It's the baked goods.
Yeah.
And they do it in an area that doesn't have a lot of food, So the people go
What?
Yeah, they do it in an area there's not a lot of food around. So the people that are there,
what?
They're really thirsty, they're really hungry. They go for a lemonade and they're like, that'll be $20 or whatever.
Yeah, a lemonade stand. You have one of those too.
And then you have the whole tamale right here.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're playing and they have this. It's like almost like a fair, It's like a band. It's a free concert.
Yeah.
Band fair. That's what it's called, band fair. And you invite a bunch of bands to come too, right? You say, oh, we're doing band fair, right? Come on by, right?
And you don't pay them.
And you don't pay them any money. It's just for exposure.
They get free baked goods if they come.
They get free. They have free cookies. Limit 2 per band member.
Yes.
Though, I mean, we can't sell the whole.
Yeah, we're not a charity here.
We're not a charity. So you got band fair. They're out in the middle of nowhere. Like they're in the woods or something at this point. People come from all over. They listen to music. They buy cookies that are like really overpriced.
While their cars are being washed.
They get refreshments. Their cars are getting washed. It's like $50 car wash.
Yes.
They have booze, too. It's illegal because they don't have a license, but they are in the middle of nowhere, so they're probably safe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they overcharge like crazy.
Yeah, it's like Las Vegas prices.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the only issue is obviously the setup. It would cost a little money to set up, so you're probably going to want to get a loan from like your dad or something.
Yeah.
Like a couple $100 just to get like the stands ready and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Probably want to build like a wood stage kind of thing. They already have their amps and stuff, so they're good there.
This is like a Lifetime original movie.
And then they do it in the woods because you don't have to pay for renting the space.
Yes, it's public property. They can't kick us out.
They can't do anything. Exactly. It's going to be kind of like Woodstock, but like with really bad music.
And lots of baked goods.
Exactly. And, I mean, they could sell other things, if you know what I mean, while they're there, too. So, to cover all your bases. So that was a really complicated way of saying...
it's impossible.
ban fare is the way to go. Or give up. Those are the two possibilities. I think. All right, it's the time of the show where we are going to do a round of trivia.
Trivia time.
Trivia time. Oh, we should have like a sound effect here. Make one real quick.
Do, do, do.
Okay, that is our sound effect. Did you hear that, folks? Let's hear it again. Hold on. It's a little faster this time. Okay, that sound indicates we're nearing the end of the show, and we want to do trivia. And how this is going to work is every week, one of the hosts is going to have a set of trivia questions for the other, and the other person is going to try to guess the correct answer to the questions. 3 questions and 3 lifelines. So the other person is really bad at trivia. They'll still be able to use lifelines. Are you ready to select your lifelines for this trivia round?
I am prepared. Let's hear what I have to choose from.
Well, first of all, the categories of this round are food and cooking, science and technology, and Australia.
Nice.
Yes. Australia is kind of the wild card. Really, anything can go. So, with that in mind, your lifelines to choose from. You have 6 to choose from. You get 3 you need to select.
Okay.
Your lifelines are as follows. 5-second Google, 10-second Bing, 30-second Yahoo.
So these are like search engine searches.
Yes, you have that amount of time to use them to search.
Okay.
And the reason we're giving you 30 seconds on Yahoo is because there's going to be a lot of ads. You're going to have to, trudge through the mud to get them. The other 3 are Monty Haulit, which is kind of like 50-50, but a little more mathematical.
Okay.
Ask a Rando, which you can go on Omegle and ask a stranger the question.
I'm sure that'll go well.
And the final one is Bust a Move, which I'm not going to tell you what it does. You're just going to have to, if you want to go with it, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
It's kind of the mystery lifeline, if you will.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to choose a 10-second Bing search. I'm going to choose a Monty Hall. And I'm going to choose Bust a Move.
Oh, great. I'm glad you chose Bust a Move.
Me too.
Okay. So are you ready for your first question?
Yes. What is the first category?
This is food and cooking.
Okay.
And I know you're going to get this one. Well, I'll just rate it for you.
Okay.
What is a traditional fermented Korean side dish made seasoned vegetables and salt? Is it A, bulgogi, B, tofu, C, kimchi, or D, bibimbap? And I know you already know the answer to this.
So I think I'm going to have to use a lifeline for this one.
Even though you know it. Okay.
Yes.
What are you going to use?
I'm going to use Bust a Move.
Oh, great.
Okay. Fantastic. It's time to bust a move.
Okay, so what you're going to do for a bust a move is you're going to do a dance move.
Okay.
On your end. You're going to have to do a very loud one.
All right, sure.
I can hear what's happening. And then if you get it right, I will give you one of 2 answers. I'll eliminate 2 of the answers, and you'll have to choose the correct one, basically. But it's only if you do a good dance move.
All right. Are you ready for my dance
ready.
move via audio?
I'm all ears.
All right.
Also, you have to name it. Okay.
All right.
What was the dance move called?
I call it my bulgogi bash.
Okay. That was acceptable. We will now give you... So, what traditional Korean food is for a fermented side dish made of seasoned vegetables and salt? Bulgogi or kimchi are your two options now.
Well, I'm tempted to go with bulgogi since I did just bust out the bulgogi bash.
That a dance move.
But I'm going to have to go with kimchi.
That is correct. Isn't it weird that you mentioned kimchi earlier in the show?
Yes, it is. Did you have this question prepared before I said there was kimchi in my trunk?
This was like an hour before we even started the show.
Okay.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I really like kimchi. It's in my fridge. I have some in my fridge right now.
I love kimchi.
It's real good. It makes your breath smell like death, but...
It does. They have a restaurant down here that used to have... They don't do it anymore. They used to, like, fry kimchi in, like, hush puppy-like balls. They're really good.
Kimchi balls.
Yeah, they're really good. Anyway, are you ready for your next question?
All right, let's go.
Okay, this category is science and technology. This is a tough one. In our solar system, which is the only planet that rotates clockwise? Is it A, Neptune, B, Venus, C, Earth, or D, Jupiter?
I'm going to use another lifeline on this one.
Okay.
Actually, wait.
What?
You know, I don't think I am going to use a lifeline. I'm going to go with A, Neptune.
Why is that, out of curiosity?
I wanted to use a lifeline just so we could use them for fun, but I think I know the answer without it.
You think it's A, Neptune? Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
It is not Neptune.
Oh, it's Jupiter?
It's Venus.
What?
Yep.
I thought it was an outer planet.
Nope, it's Venus. I don't know why. I'm not a scientist, but that's the correct answer. Sorry. Well, you're only going to be able to make 2 points this round, and I'm going to be able to catch up to you next week. So, do you want the final answer? The final question?
I'm ready for the final question.
You're going to be able to use 2 different lifelines on this one.
Okay, so I should be safe.
Should be safe. I would recommend using Monty Hall first, and then maybe the Google next. Well, I shouldn't tell you what to do.
Thank you.
So the category is Australia.
Okay.
What is the capital city of Australia? Is it A, Sydney, B, Canberra, C, Melbourne, or D, Brisbane?
I'm going to use Monty Hall, as you suggested.
The Monty Hall. Mm-hmm. So for those that don't know what Monty Hall is, he chooses a selection, and then I eliminate 2 selections, and then he's able to switch his choice or stick with his choice. Mm-hmm. And then it's locked in. So actually, you're not going to be able to use the Google for this because you're going to lock it in after this.
I might use it later. I'm going to select Sydney tentatively.
Sydney? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, you're locking in Sydney. So now I'm going to delete 2 things, and you're going to be able to choose between both of them. So I'm going to cut away Melbourne and Brisbane. So you're left with Sydney and Canberra.
Sydney and Canberra.
Yep. Those are your 2 options. So you can either stick with Sydney or change.
Stick with Sydney or change.
Or you could Google and decide then.
Bing. I chose Bing.
Or Bing, whatever.
All right. Let's start the clocks. I'm going to try for a Bing.
All right. You have 10 seconds for a Bing. I'm going to bring up my clock. Hold on one second.
Tell me when to go.
I'm going to tell you in a second.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I've literally never used Bing.
The Microsoft clock is really, like, the Windows 10 is, like, it's really bad. It's really poorly designed. I have to just tell you right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to, like, create a timer and save it or something. All right. Are you ready? You have 10 seconds.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, Bing.
The capital of Australia is Canberra.
3. Is that your final answer? 2.
Final answer.
1. Bing. That is correct. Good job. I want to make clear that I accidentally set this timer for 10 minutes instead of 10 seconds. Because the Windows timer is very bad.
I'm so happy that Bing worked. That is my first Bing search ever.
And it worked. Let's give you a round of applause.
I can't believe it.
So you did it.
Not really. I got one wrong.
Are you going to change engines to Bing now?
No.
Why not?
Because Google is what I'm used to.
All right, fair enough. Well, that worked. It was very good. You got 2 out of 3, which is respectable. I'm going to catch up to you next week. I'm going to try to.
You're going to get all 3.
And I'm going to get all 3. That's exactly right. I'm going to leave you with a final question before we wrap up here.
Okay.
Do toaster strudels cause cancer?
That's a
That's
a question.
That's not a good question. Then you do have frosting.
They are a frozen food item that is probably made in a factory.
Yes.
And probably contains ingredients that do not occur in nature naturally.
Yes, also very true. They're probably not natural at all, really.
Yes.
So if you think about it that way, can I just read the question, full question to you?
Let's.
So TechZ1 writes, I saw in a Varkenskeletor video where he plays a ROM hack of Super Mario 64 called Super Wheelchair Mario 64.
Yikes.
I want to know if it's true or false. So apparently his knowledge of toaster strudel cancer comes from someone playing a ROM hack of Mario 64.
I don't understand how the two are related.
Well, it's on Reddit, so that's how they're related.
Okay.
So just yes or no?
No, they don't cause cancer.
I'm going to go with yes. And the reason I say that is because Varkenskeletor said it, and I trust Varkenskeletor with my life. So
that seems... Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to eat toaster strudels anyway, but yeah, I'm going to say no. They probably don't cause cancer.
I'm going to say yes because Varkenskeletor said it. So that has been episode 10 of the TimeBat Show. Please contact us. We need people to contact us
and ask us questions.
We need questions. We need more questions for the show. Yeah. You can contact us at contact@timebatshow.com, or what else can we do?
Or on Twitter at TimeBat Show, at TimeBat Show.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So tweet at us, email us. Yeah. You can yell at us, but we probably won't hear you. Do however you want to contact us.
If you yell at us, send us an email too.
Yeah, send us an email as well so we know. Let us know in the email that you yelled and that we couldn't hear it. And make sure to use the same sound that the moose in Canada uses, so we'll be able to pick it up. Yes. But ask us whatever you want. Like, the stupidest thing that comes into your brain. Anyway, this has been the TimeBat Show. Episode 10, I'm Tom Aces.
I'm Bat Snacks.
And everyone have a great night. And remember, toaster strudels do not cause cancer.
They might.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.